It was just a regular night, a night like every other night, a Tuesday night, and my wife and I had just put the kids to bed, and I said to her, come outside and let's sit under the stars, which I did after the passing of my brother in July last year. I knew I could connect with him at any time when I sat under the stars. So I made us a cup of tea, I grabbed the picnic rug, and we sat under the stars just on the garden. And this energy started to shift, and it was almost like I could feel the top of my head from here flip open, and I could see the 5 points in my brain connected with 5 stars in the sky. And this energy transference started to happen, and I knew something not regular was occurring, so I went to turn around to Crystal and I said, you know, something strange is happening, but I was actually standing beside myself. I had separated from my physical body, and then this energy just took over the whole scene, and it was like I was home. My soul recognized the energy. I was calm, I was alert, but I felt like there was a higher presence, a higher power that had just taken over. And when I turned around, my big brother, Ryan, stepped out of the space in front of me. And he had an angel on either side, and they just glittered this beautiful golden energy, like this shimmering energy. And he said, hey Katie, because he always called me Katie. And he said, hey Katie, I'm here to awaken you. I'm here to awaken you to the truth of who you are. Will you travel with me? And I said, of course I'll travel with you, Ryan. And we stepped into the space, and we traveled through space and time, where I was transferred back through the timeline of my life here, so my lifetime up until now, and I was placed at every event where a trauma had occurred growing up. And so I was placed back, and every time I arrived somewhere, it was my younger self who was crying and who was scared and who was alone and who had this overwhelmed feeling of just not belonging. The world didn't make sense, and why was I here, and I didn't belong, and I wasn't worthy of what was happening. And I was given the opportunity to pick her up out of wardrobes, and I picked her up out of wardrobes where she was crying, and I held her and I healed her and I filled her full of love. And I don't even know how long that happened, but when the dark energy that she was surrounded in, it was almost like this black dark cloud of energy that was around her, and this cleared, and then she started to shimmer this beautiful golden energy, and she looked up at me and she smiled this overwhelming love, this pure love of being home. And then I put her inside me, and then the next event was she was in the back seat of a car, and she was begging, and she was thinking, if I just open the door and fall out of this car, it'll all be over and I won't have to live like this anymore. And so I was there in the car, and I lifted her out of the car, and I healed her, and I loved her, and I put her back inside me. And the next time was a bridge, and she was sitting on top of the bridge urging herself to jump into the water. And I did the same, and I healed her, and I healed her, and I healed her, and I just kept putting all of these versions of me back into my heart and into my soul. And it was like, and I liken it to, you know, the Russian doll, where you have all these different sizes and different elements and different versions of yourself. And I just built myself up that night, all the different elements from the inside out. And when that had occurred, and when I had gone back to every event, we stepped back out of the space and time, and I was back in the garden, and I stepped back into my physical body. And Ryan said, now it's time for you to see. And he walked around behind me, and he put his hand in front of my face like this, and I can see it so clearly. And as he lifted, it was like he lifted this black veil off my eyes. It was like a cinema screen, the curtain rising up to reveal the picture behind it. And in an instant, my whole life changed. Everything that I knew about me changed. Everything that I knew about the world changed. I had this instant awareness that everything that we have been taught and told and shown isn't in fact the truth of reality to how we are supposed to be, how we as spiritual beings are supposed to be, and how and what we can have when we come back to ourselves in the truth. And I just had this calmness and this knowing that I was perfect. Everything I ever thought disappeared. It all switched. My whole perception of everything switched. My awareness switched. I started to see that I was amazing, I was strong, I was beautiful, I was confident, I was intelligent. I was everything that I'd ever wished to be in that split second. And everything around me changed. The sky came alive, the stars told a story, the moon reached out, the trees whispered, they took a step closer. The grass was full of this energy that was just buzzing. Everything around me, I was connected instantly to every living thing around me. I was it and it was me. I was one with everything, and I knew that I was one with everything. And it was the most beautiful, purest feeling of love that I have ever experienced. And it's just gotten more and more profound as the days and the months have gone on. But in that night when that had occurred, then I came back to full awareness. And I came up and I said to Crystal, wow. And she says, are you okay? You've been talking to yourself, but I knew not to interrupt. And I said, I've just been awakened. And she says, what do you mean? I says, I've just been awakened. Ryan's been here and we've travelled, and he's awakened me to the truth of who I am and who we are as spiritual beings. And she looked a bit concerned for a second. And then I started to tell her everything, where I had been and what I had done, and I just was in floods of tears, and I still get really emotional talking about it. And I just cried these tears of relief and these tears of knowing, and knowing that I had found home and that I did belong, and I had finally found the truth. And all along I knew it wasn't how it was supposed to be, and now I knew why. Because I was here to do more. I was here to be a healer. But in order for that to happen, I first had to finish my healing journey. And my healing journey started when I was 15. You know, I was calling out for help when I was 15. I was going to counsellors, and you know, at 17 I started medication, antidepressants and anti-anxiety tablets just to try and survive in everyday life. It was so overwhelming. It was what I could say, it just wasn't right. And after that night, that turned into a very late night of just processing and talking about what happened. And then we started the healing journey. And it was every day for about 3 months. Through the day when I was awake, I would have these informational downloads. And they just kept saying, we're activating the knowledge and the wisdom that you brought with you to be awakened in this life. We're activating the knowledge and the wisdom that your soul holds for you to take this into the world, for you to help humanity awaken. And I had no idea that humanity was awakening. I'd never even heard the term awakening before. I had no influence of spirituality, of God, of the universe. Like, this was brand new to me, but I just stepped into it because I knew what I had experienced had to be the truth. Because I'd walked it, I'd seen it, and I'd felt it. I'd seen angels. I'd only ever dreamed of angels and angels being real, but I've actually travelled with them and walked with them and talked with them. And so we just sat with that, and I would be driving the kids to school, and I would start getting these informational downloads where I would have to just pull over and I would just be writing this stuff that was coming through. And I have journals and journals and journals of processes and steps and information that at that time I thought I needed to record, to remember. But now I know that it's just information that's within me, it's all there. And I just started to talk, and when I just started to talk, the information would come. And so everything changed. Everything changed, and every time I would meditate, I would travel. I began to travel, and my angels would wake me up at 3:40 every morning for about 3 months, 3:40. And they would say, it's time to travel. And I would go outside and I would sit under the stars, and the minute I closed my eyes, I would go, and I would always be guided by this beautiful golden white light. And I would travel to different dimensions where I had something to remember or something to learn. And I did that for a very long time, for about 3 months. But I had so much energy that I didn't even need sleep. All of my behaviours changed without me having to think about it. It was just like I couldn't do anything that wasn't of the purest high frequency. The highest vibrational energy was all that I carried. My smile was infectious. I laughed like I'd never laughed before. I had this belief in myself. I had this knowing that everybody was connected, and I could see that everybody's soul and everybody's spirit, everybody's essence started to glow from around them. And then I was able to bounce off that, and then talking with me and my experience, I could see the glimmer of recognition in them. And then that would just carry on, and all of a sudden the energy would be lifted. And it was really beautiful. It was, and it has been the journey of a lifetime. And this has been from January this year, so it's been 10 months that this has all been occurring. And then miracles started to occur every day. And at this stage, I was still on antidepressants and anti-anxiety tablets. And one day during meditation, Ryan came to me again, and he showed me a picture of my tablet. And he said, "Cara, put them in the bin. They're actually poisoning your body, and they're numbing your senses to be able to connect with the universe." He says, "You have been healed. You are healed. We have healed you, and you will not suffer. Put them in the bin." And I did it. And I did every single thing that they've ever told me to do. I did it. I never questioned it. I did it. I left that meditation. I went around home. I gathered every prescription, every tablet, and I put them in the bin, and I never suffered. I never had one come down. I never had one bad day. I never doubted it for a second. I never had any pain. I was on antidepressants from I've been 17, and that day that I did that, I was 37. So I have lived on tablets, and I just put them all in the bin, and I never looked back. And from that day, my connection to spirit and angels has just grown and grown and become more intense. That anytime I ask a question, I get answers. Anytime I need to understand or need to help someone else understand something about them, they will come through. And when I work with clients now who come and ask me, to help them understand themselves or help them heal from their traumas, then I call in their spirit team and I call in my spirit team, and they work together, and they funnel through me, they channel through me the answers and the ways that these people can heal in their step forward in their spiritual growth, and how to heal and how to come into alignment and reclaim their connection with universe, because we're all connected. We're always connected to every living thing in this universe. We're always connected, and it's just trying to help people remember who they are, and that they are spiritual beings, and that we're here to remember, we're here to wake up, we're here to see what we can learn, if we can learn, and if we can wake up and then step forward into healing and into love, and send that love out into the world, because we're actually here to answer Earth's call. And the way it has been put across to me and my understanding of it is, we've been living on planet Earth for such a long time. We've done so much damage as humanity and as a race, that we have, the rainforests and the water systems and the ocean and the plastic and, the fear and the wars and all the stuff that we have done to cause pain and hurt, that it's like Mother Earth sent out a call to the universe asking for help. And that's when souls from higher dimensions, higher frequency souls were sent here to awaken, to help humanity heal. And in that healing, for every person that heals, they raise their vibration. And the more people that get on board and awaken and heal and start to raise their vibration as a combined energy, we then can lift the vibration of humanity as a whole. we can come into unity and consciousness, and we can help planet Earth heal and rise back to where she belongs, back to her good place, her safe place, her healed place, and where we can live in unity with nature and with the oceans and with the elements and with everything else that's already here. That, you know, people being so disconnected from source and from energy and from the earth, that we can come back, into alignment, and that we can all exist together in peace and harmony. So another one of the miracles, because the miracles just kept occurring, was a really intense miracle. And it was just another ordinary night, and I had just curled up on the sofa with my wife, and Marley, our cat, became a communicator, and he would let me know when the angels were present or when the angels would be coming. And I started to recognize his behaviour as being a sign that the angels were coming and that something was about to happen. So on this night he jumped up on me and he started pawing at me and meowing and walking back and forward to the patio door, and he was telling me to go outside. And when I went outside and I sat down, boom, it was instantaneous. I was surrounded in this golden light, and it was everything that I was the golden light. I was surrounded by golden light. The golden light was everything that was. I was just within this spectrum of golden light, and every emotion that you would consider to be a human emotion of a negative state was gone. And I was so aware that all the fear, the worry, the doubt, any sadness, any grief, anything that you would consider to be a painful emotion just didn't exist. And angels came to me and they said, we have gifted you immediate enlightenment. You are going to live in an enlightened state for the next few days, because this is your right. This is where your soul belongs. This is who you are. And this goes for every human being, for every spiritual being. It was almost like that you can attain this. This will be your permanent state. This is where your journey this will be the destination of your journey here. And with this awakening and with your learning and with your growth and with your activation, this is actually where you will begin to live. But this is not going to be permanent. This is to show you what you can achieve. And everything had beauty. Everything had beauty. When I came back into my body and I just stepped up out of the garden into the house, Crystal had completely changed. I had completely changed. The kids, Marley, everything that I seen had changed. All the plants in the house were alive. Every rock was alive. The crystals were alive. I could see their energy. I could feel them beating. I could almost hear them vibrating at the life force energy that we all are. And then I started to go outside the next day and I started to meet people, and I could see their essence. I could see their spirit. I could see them through eyes that were just love. And it didn't matter what they were saying. I understood where they were at. There was no such thing as judgment, or no such thing as frustration, no such thing as annoyance. Everything was just love. Everything I said came from a place of love. Everything they said was understood to be coming from a place of love. Everything was understanding and acceptance and balance, and this is where we're at, and how to speak from love. Everything was love. The water seemed to flow towards me in the rivers. The trees seemed to speak and almost bow and greet me when I walked past them. All of nature came in, and all these animals just approached me and came up to me. All these wild animals were just starting to come to me in parks. The wind started to sing. Everything started to come alive. Nature was alive. She started to sing, she started to play, she started to dance. It was the most beautiful few days of my entire life. It was incredible to have experienced that and know that every person on earth will experience that. And it may not be in this lifetime, but as we repeat and as we learn and as we grow and as we advance our soul's progression and our lessons in this life and come back again, and you know, if we have to come back and redo it, that we're always learning, but that will be the destination, that living in complete bliss, complete unity with the universe, complete attachment and connection with source energy and all that we are. For we are the stars, we are the moon, we are the sky, we are the sun, we are the grass, we are the trees, we are the birds, we are the oceans, we are the deserts, we are the mountains, we are everything that we stand in and that we see daily. We've just forgotten our connection. And this awakening is to help people come back to that awareness.